Good evening, friends. This is Sue at Miller's Laboratory. Thanks for joining me. Today I have another flip through for you. I got this pretty green book done. Title of this book was Four Girls, written by Pansy. It's just this beautiful cover with the gold and also has some beautiful gold on the spine. I've just tied it with this length of pretty eyelet here. It doesn't hold it tight, it just holds it closed. And it's a chubby, as usual for me. But we'll go ahead and get started flipping through. I hope everybody's doing well. Hope you have had a great weekend. I did. I'll tell you about it as we're going through. All right. So this book had someone's name in the front, and if you watch me, you know I like to leave that there. Some people like to cover this up with pretty paper, and that's your prerogative. If you purchase one of my books and you want to put paper there, it's easy to do. You can glue it right over this fabric. I just like to keep the name because it's part of the original book, so that's just me. Alright, so we've got a vellum pocket here right in the front, pretty tag here, and then also the paint chip bookmark that I've made for all of the books. I will try not to take every single thing out of the pockets so that we save a little bit of time. Here we have an up tuck, and for this one I just used a pretty page from a bird book with pretty ducks. I chose the mallard because they have the green head. And then on the back I just added some panels of plain paper so you can write here. If you wanted to lift this up, you could see what was underneath. And you can see here I have once again a couple of butterflies that got forgotten. I really do go through the books before I start the video because I plan on having everything all set, but best laid plans, as we all know, sometimes that happens. So we had a particularly lovely Saturday here at White Lake, which is the lake. There is a White Lake, Michigan. That's the city. It's down by Detroit. I live in Whitehall, which is on White Lake over on the west side of the state. And we had a maritime festival this weekend. Lots of events. We didn't go to all of them. Oh, now here I got to show you this. I put these little shoes in here because I just thought they were pretty. And I decided I may as well do something whimsical with these. So I actually cut along the outside edge there so you can tuck these little tags in and it looks like they're inside the shoe. It's because I'm weird like that, right? Okay. Anyway, the Maritime Festival, they had like an old antique boat show. They had a sailboat regatta, pretty tag in there. There's this swimmer who swims long distances to raise money. His name is Jim Dreyer, the shark, and he was part of the festival. He swam in Saturday evening, which was really cool. He swam 22 miles. They dropped him kind of out in Lake Michigan, and he swam all the way into our town, hauling 256-pound cannonballs. He was raising money for veterans, so that was a cool thing. Just kind of a flip out here. This, if you remember back to when we started these books, this was an original page from this book, The Four Girls, so I definitely put that in. Made a little side tuck here and just added a little journal card. So the main thing that we did was, it was the 5th year for this. It's called Floatapalooza, and it started as a fundraiser for a group here in town wanting to raise money, and we were trying to break the record for kayak and canoe flotilla. you know, like where all of the boats are touching. And the first year we had, I think, over 500, but actually every year it's gotten to be less and less, unfortunately, instead of more. The record is like 2,099. So I think people realized we're probably never going to hit that. And so some people, if that's the only thing they care about, then they just don't come. I'll flip up here. This is a genuine old report card, and I just kind of folded it. It's glued at the top, but I folded it up. You can use that as a tuck spot if you want to. So I think we had less than 200 out there this year, which is a bummer, but it is so much fun. You know, you just paddle out there and it's not really far. And then there's a big boat out there with a live music, and everybody just floats. It's a couple of hours long. We just hang out and you float around, paddle around and visit people, and it's just so fun. It's like a little party out on the lake. I just love it. I wish more people would come because I think they would enjoy it, but anyway, that's what we did yesterday. Today was kind of a rainy day, so stuck close to home. Just got, this is kind of 3 little tags in here layered. I'm going to pull them out because I want to show you something here. So this one is the one I want to talk about. So it doesn't look, I'm trying to hold it because it's very glossy, so I don't want to have too much glare on there for you, but you can see the glue lines underneath it, which is kind of a bummer. But this paper was what I want to tell you about. So I forgot to tell you that last weekend I told you I went to Frederick Meyer Gardens to a concert, but then my girlfriends and I also went back over there to see the gardens because they're having a special exhibit of Dale Chihuly glass this summer, and so we wanted to go see that, and so we did. And I love Frederick Meyer Gardens anyway. It's beautiful sculptures and everything. It's really a beautiful place to go. But when we were done, we went into the gift shop, and I just wanted to show you that of all the beautiful things in the gift shop that I could choose, what I wound up choosing was this book of decorative paper. And it's glossy. It's more like a wrapping paper almost. It's pretty thin, but it's got like close-up views of all this beautiful glass. And I'm so sorry about all the glare on that. But lots of paper in here, and just really, really beautiful. Really fun thing to see, and of course I have some beautiful paper now to show for it. So here I made a little tuck with this tag, or with this label, stuck this tag in there, and then this thing on the top opens up like this. It's an old piece of paper from a book, and you can write on that, and then that's kind of tucked away when you're not using it. Here's a belly band with our pretty envelope. Stapled a pretty drawing of some flowers on there, and then there's a couple pieces of ephemera inside there, a photo, and what else is in there? A ticket, an old ticket from something. So fun stuff there. Another up tuck. This has got the little flags. Oop, got stuck there. Just a pretty one with birds, and I put the tab on the bottom since you're pulling it down, just for something different. Here's a pretty little journal spot, and I like this pocket with this pretty sheer paper over here in the corner so you can kind of see through it. This is just a piece of stationery that it's in the middle, and I just made that into a little tuck. Pretty little journal card in there with the nest. Lots of birds, lots of botanical again in this one. It's kind of my go-to. This is a digital collage that I did. Made that into a pretty journal spot. And then, isn't this pretty with the curtains? And I just glued that onto a book page. I love that. So we're getting close to the end of this series. I have one more book to finish, and I should be able to get that done this week. So next week I should be flipping through that last one. It's a pretty brown one. And then we will move on to something else. So just a couple little journal spots here. These little tickets I put in fanned, and then they're actually glued at the top and the bottom, so they're like their little tiny belly bands layered in there. And then here I've got this pretty little ivy image. I printed it the right way and then also reversed so I could do that mirror thing. And then in here I just created a little envelope. And this is one of the ones, there's a little card in there. And this is one of the ones that opens all the way so you can journal inside there. And I just added that little butterfly as a surprise in there. I didn't put anything on this to keep it closed, you know, like a little seal. You could if you wanted to, but because it's kind of tucked in here, it's held closed anyway, so it doesn't really, I didn't think it was needed. Okay, got a little side tuck here with this pretty little notebook. I love this one with someone had written. Looks like Catherine Riddle. It's like Tom Riddle, Tom Riddle's sister. And then a little envelope here, and inside here I just put a tag, pretty tag. You can put other things in there too, obviously, whatever you like. I think it would be fun to have a show and tell and have people do a video of their book after it was all done, to see if they changed it, added things. Obviously I don't necessarily want to read your journaling or anything, but I know people add stuff to the books, and I'm happy about that you take it and add to it and make it your own thing. This page, I'll just show you, it opens up like this, so we have two pockets that kind of go together. So I did what I've been doing, where I make like a large journal card and then cut it. So we have eggs on there, and on the back of this one I used some collaged sort of paper, writable papers that you can write on. So the back of this is kind of interesting too. And I thought, oh, I need some owls. I haven't used any owls in a long time. So there they are, little owls. And then of course you can write on the back of that too. Now here I glued this hummingbird in just along here and here. So this is the tuck spot. And we have a journal spot in here. Oh, pretty. It tucks right up there, nice and snug. Some kind of more plain stuff here. Did the same thing here I've showed you previously, where I tore this in half. I didn't want to cut any of it off, so I just staggered it like that. Pretty page out of a bird book here, and on the back I just glued this image that I had because the back was not pretty, so I added that. Here's our little hanging journal spot with our, you guys are going to be so sick of that, but I kind of did that in all the books. So I like how you can see this right along in line with this. This is like on the next page or the page after. But again, that's that whole layering thing that I like to do. Side tuck here with a nice big journal card. And then this is our little flipping pocket page. So this, you can see both sides here. It's just got this nice big tag in it. And yeah, I just put that butterfly in there so there was something pretty in that window too. Kind of bugs me when it's not centered. Okay. write. Here's a little big check that I printed out. Pull out little spot so you can write on the back of this if you want to, and then it's a pocket, and I just made a pretty another collage, digital collage here with a poem and a couple of teacups with the green. Thought those were pretty. And in this one I have, this is not original, this is a printed, a reward of merit like a kid would get from their teacher. And then this is genuine, and I gotta say, this is like one of my prized things. I have a whole notebook of essays that are written in this beautiful handwriting. And you know, I'm gonna scan a few of the pages, but there's really no need to scan all of them. I mean, I don't need it, so I decided to share one there. So I mean, that is somebody's beautiful, beautiful handwriting there, and you can just admire it, or you can use it for something. This page is like a big flip pull out. You could use that for writing too. It's fairly neutral. And then in here we have this other little notebook that we made, all the interesting random papers in it. Here I used this vintage, or I think this is like from the, I don't know. There's probably a date on it somewhere. We'll look on the other side. It's from a lodge. It's like their ledger. And then another digital collage that I did here. The dogwood. It's pretty. Now here's a pleated pocket like you've seen me do with journaling spot inside. And here I just made really plain little tags here. I didn't even put a tab on them or anything. You can. That's just an image of a book cover that I put in there, and then added a little bit of really pretty old book page. And then these are the little flip ups. So that also you've seen in all the other books. Okay, here is our, I showed you this last week, I gave you the sneak peek, but here is our little window page where you can see the beautiful pond, dragonfly and butterfly flying, and you flip it this way, and then the gate is framed here from the cottage. And you can see that I added some pretty flowers on there. And then I added some flowers down here too. So there's something pretty on every page. And then this also has a pretty little frame around it. Turned out nice, even though it wasn't exactly as I had planned. This is one of those pretty fold up journaling spots that we made earlier again. And this, I did clip this on the edge. You don't really need it there, but this pulls down so that you could add a little bit more writing in there if you want. Lots of lined paper there to write on, which is handy. Why that keeps getting stuck on that. I'm sorry about that. I'll have to see if I can fix that. Just a pretty journal card in here. Sometimes it's nice to use the black and white images. And then one of these cool string envelopes. And there's a journal card in here as well. The pretty lily of the valley. Love that image. It's so pretty. And it's definitely green, isn't it? It's a pretty green on there. So you can close these up however you like. I just kind of wrapped it around once and then left the string hanging there. Then this flips out, and then I added some flowers here as a little tuck. And there's just another pretty little journal spot here with the cute little birds on it. Love those little blue birds. Okay. This also flips open. And I just added some book page here that you can write on. Pretty tag in here. I have quite a few of these labels in here. I don't remember where I found those, but they're like from a store, and I love all wool underwear. Gotta love that. Just added another owl there just for decoration. This is a page from a calendar, or I'm sorry, an address book. Obviously, it's from an address book, and I just glued it on this side, and then it flips open, and it's a little pocket here. This is another digital collage that I did with the teacups and the butterflies. And this one is a little trifold. So lots of writing space there. That one you have to jiggly in there. It's nice and snug. This is another little window. I'm going to tip it so you don't have the glare there, but I punched out that butterfly shape again as a window because I thought that was so fun. And then I have this tag in there with the pretty lady. And I just like how you can kind of see her eyes through the butterfly there. I thought that was kind of cute. And then I took the butterfly that I punched out and I added a little bit more coffee to it so it was a little darker. And then I glued it up there. So it's like he popped out of there and landed up there. All right. Over here I have the little stitched in extra pages like we showed earlier, and there's, you know, just a few pages in there that you can write or whatever, and then a tag here, and then also behind there I just used a page from a pretty book, gardening book, and made a nice long tag with that too. That flips up, that vellum. Here again we have two up tucks that match. Same thing I did as I showed you earlier with the eggs, except I used this pretty image of the cottage with the garden, and I think that's really pretty. Oh, I love my little chads, but sometimes it's hard to get stuff up in there. You have to just put it at the right angle to get it up in there. All right, this is from an old geography book. I love that. So pretty. Added a nice bird here. I don't know what kind of bird that is with that long tail, but I thought he was cute. I like to have things that go across sometimes the two pages. This was kind of a shallow pocket, so I added a little narrow belly band on there, and this one, just open that up. I used this paint swatch image, and I just divided it up like I showed you before into two tags. Oh, get in there. There we go. Okay. And on the other side there I added that pretty image, a swag. Pretty swag. All right, here we have a pocket made out of this ivy image. I really love this because it reminds me of some wallpaper that I put up in our old house. We had ivy wallpaper like that in the bathroom, and I love that. So anyway, this little tag comes out. And then in here we have a little flip down like I have done previously as well, with this nice thin green painter's masking paper. So that's all tucked away and hidden away. And then we have a pretty butterfly here just for decoration, and a label here for decoration on this kind of bold page. Oh, here we have a vintage postcard from 1908. There's a price on there. You could erase that if you want to. I didn't bother, but and then on this side I've got a pocket with our art page little booklet, art book page booklet. So it's a mouthful. little corner tuck here, just with some tracing paper and a pretty journal card there. And that is it. So that's it, guys. This book will be available in the shop as always, and I just want to say thanks for joining me and being faithful to me, watching me through this series. As I said, we have one more to go, and I'm excited to get that done and move on to something else. So I will see you next week. Have a great week. Bye.